under the intense pressure of her parents, a biracial black woman, Mary, was coerced into marrying a white merchant named Johnson, with the hope that their daughter might escape the brutalities of racial discrimination and lead a life free from prejudice. However, neither Mary nor her parents could have foreseen the tragic consequences of this decision. After their marriage, Mary accompanied Johnson to New York. The journey was scenic, and Johnson seemed attentive and caring. Yet, upon their arrival in his hometown, the atmosphere shifted drastically. Johnson, under the guise of marital affection, placed a hand on Mary's shoulder, but his intentions soon became alarmingly clear. Mary pleaded for kindness, but Johnson's actions were rough and unexpected, leaving Mary shocked and violated. Afterward, she sat on the bed, tears of sorrow welling in her eyes. Instead of offering comfort, Johnson, now cold and distant, removed her wedding ring, a symbolic gesture that filled Mary with a growing sense of dread. Johnson left the room and summoned his men, ignoring Mary's desperate pleas for mercy. The men's greedy expressions hinted at the horrors to come, and as the room filled with the sounds of her struggles, Johnson calmly plotted his next move. The following day, he had Mary handcuffed and dragged to a slave market. Despite her frantic attempts to escape, it was too late, her pleas fell on deaf ears. Mary was unceremoniously dragged onto the auction platform, even before the previous slave sale was completed. Her youth and beauty made her a valuable commodity, and the bidding quickly escalated. In a cruel display, her coat was ripped off to showcase her figure to the crowd. As the bidding intensified, a middle-aged gentleman appeared from the throng. He observed Mary with interest, but as he began to place his bid, Mary tearfully interrupted, proclaiming that she was not a slave and had been deceived by Johnson and brought from Canada. The crowd, indifferent to her plight, continued to bid. Sensing the danger of exposure, Johnson quickly ordered his men to remove her from the stage. Despite her protests, Johnson forcefully made Mary understand her dire situation. However, the middle-aged gentleman intervened, halting Johnson's aggressive actions. After a tense exchange, the gentleman offered $1,700 for Mary, an enormous sum at the time. Johnson, unable to hide his excitement, tried to push the price to $2,000. Without hesitation, the gentleman produced the money, freeing Mary from Johnson's cruel grasp. Mary was then sent to a plantation, where a group of slaves labored in the fields. For a brief moment, she felt a glimmer of hope, but reality soon crushed her optimism. The plantation's mistress, upon learning of her husband's purchase of a young, beautiful slave, was consumed with anxiety, knowing the common practice of white landowners exploiting black women. It was clear her husband had sinister motives. Mary was escorted to her quarters by a stern white overseer, who warned her against any thoughts of escape, threatening severe consequences. After the overseer left, Mary met a kind older slave and her son, Elroy. The next morning, while helping prepare breakfast, the older woman noticed Mary's smooth, unblemished hands, revealing that Mary had never been subjected to the hardships of slavery. That evening, Mary confided in the older woman and Elroy, revealing her past and begging for their help to escape. Elroy, however, was hesitant. They all shared the same black skin in a society that showed no mercy to their kind. Helping Mary escape could cost them their lives, but Mary, her spirit shattered, refused to accept her fate. Weeks passed, and Mary began to adapt to the grueling labor. One day, while washing away the dirt and sweat at the river, she was unaware of the plantation owner's lustful gaze, fixated on her vulnerable body, foreshadowing yet another trial in her nightmarish ordeal.